You're reflecting back upon Houston and Texas. Houston scored more points, but what did the Houston do differently than Texas did that allowed the Houston to be more successful against their
Yeah,
defense?
I think the one thing Houston did is that it seems like they didn't give up. You know what I mean? It seems like that once a few things went bad, once we got a jump at the beginning of the game, they kept battling. And obviously, after the first quarter, Houston became one-dimensional. You know what I mean? We saw one or two runs the last three quarters of the game. And so I thought that was a little bit more predictable, but at the same time, they seemed to always make big plays when they needed them to keep themselves in the game.
Yeah. Is this a revenge game for you guys Saturday?
I wouldn't say a revenge game, but I think it has a sore place for a lot of us. I mean, if I was to pick one game last year that we really felt we should have won, it was the Virginia game. Especially defensively, we thought we played a very good game. But they're a lot better team this year. They're a lot better than they were last year, and so we'll have to have a good week of practice and be ready.
Did you check them out on TV beating Louisville? Did you watch that?
I watched it a little bit. I watched it on film today, and then I watched the UCLA game as well. But yeah, like I said, I feel like they're a better team than they were a year ago.
They've been using two quarterbacks in their games. Are you guys defensively at a point where you're confident in the scheme that regardless of who's in there, you feel like you guys have a pretty good handle on it?
I think so, especially with those two quarterbacks. The guy that played against us a year ago is actually now like third string, and he'll come in here every once in a while. But as far as the two, they're not big runners. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like that's one of their strengths. And so as far as if we're gap sound and do our job, I don't think it'll really matter which quarterback's in.
Rem, a couple of things. How much did the short turnaround play into the way you guys played against Houston last week, and was Taysom sick against Houston?
As far as I know, Taysom wasn't sick. I don't know anything about that. And then the short turnaround, it was a little tough as far as we didn't get a practice with pads at all, and that was a little weird. But to be honest with me, I'd rather do that. I'd rather play. You know what I mean? I kind of get sick of practice sometimes, but it's important in a time we need. So.
Well, the benefit of that is then you get a couple of extra days to prepare.
Yeah.
After 3 games, did the team need that, or?
I think so, and I think after 3, good physical games, that this long weekend really helped as well, with bodies and letting people recover a little bit. So I think that'll be beneficial.
Were you feeling that short week in the second half?
I felt a little bit with my legs just because I'm not used to pass rushing every single play. You know what I mean? And that's what it was. Run up 5 yards and then run 15 yards to the ball, whereas most teams will at least run here and there. And so I felt that a little bit, but we had a good rotation, and I think that helped.
What kind of opportunities are you staring down this weekend? Virginia got the better of you last year. The more you guys rise in the rankings and continue to win, the bigger the stage is going to be here in Provo.
Yeah, I think that you're exactly right. You know what I mean? The more times we go out and do our job, the bigger the stage is going to be, and the bigger the opportunity we're going to have to show what kind of team we can be. And so I think this week we kind of have a quote this year is a one-game season, you know what I mean? And it's just Virginia, and there's no one past that. And so I think if we just got to prepare well, have a good week of practice, get our minds right, and go have a good football game and hopefully the outcome will be different from last year.
How aware of the ranking are you guys right now?
I mean, obviously we hear about it, I mean, people always ask you about it, but I think we just try to focus on, like I said, this week's game and not let that get to us. So.
A lot was made about style points and whether you have to impress voters. You guys talk about that at all?
No, we don't talk about that at all. It just seems like, I mean, I'm sure you guys know Coach Mendenhall's not much into media. He's not much into what people say, and so I think that really helps us knowing that we're not worried about what the outside world has to say. It's just what's happening here. So.